This show is brought to you by United Healthcare because we believe in the power of volunteering.
Hello everybody, thanks for watching Project Volunteer. I'm your host Randy Lanham along with my co-host
Teresa Rowe.
Teresa. First responders.
They're very important.
They are very important.
And we need to thank the Lord for them, right?
Absolutely, yes. Thank you all you first responders.
Yes.
For this episode, we're going to show off a couple different kinds of first responders where volunteers are actually the first responders. One being a volunteer fire department and one being the Red Cross. So we'll start with the volunteer fire department. Teresa, when I was a kid, I was raised, my dad was a fireman, my uncles were firemen, my granddad.
I didn't know that about you.
Yes.
Why don't you tell me these things?
I'm telling you now.
All I hear about is music, which
I'm
is all
telling you
good.
now.
Okay, all right, go ahead.
So, family of volunteer firemen,
That's
right?
neat,
So
yes.
growing up, I always wanted to be a volunteer fireman because I would get to see them do that, and they were so happy when they helped people. And whether that was a fire or working a wreck or whatever. Yeah. So I grew up around that and always wanted to be. For this segment you're fixing to see, I got to be a volunteer for a day, a volunteer fireman for a day, rather.
Wow.
I got to wear the big jacket, the big
was
helmet.
Was that heavy?
Yes, it was heavy, and it was like heavy and hot. It was like
you were sweating.
And the jaws of life were like, they felt like they were like 200 pounds. I got to open this door of a car, so I got to do a little training.
Neat.
It was a lot of
It
fun.
takes some skill, right? I mean, you've got to have a
Definitely.
little bit of training behind you, right?
Absolutely, and I don't have the skills, but it was fun to be able to experience that day. And so volunteer firemen, that's a big volunteer need all over the country. So get out there and volunteer. We hope this segment inspires you to do that. Hello, this is Randy Lanham.
And I'm Teresa Rowe, and we are your hosts for Project Volunteer.
Have you ever wondered what nonprofit organizations do or about all their different volunteering opportunities?
Or what about hearing testimonies from the recipients of their care?
Join us on our journey as we walk in the shoes of a volunteer for a day and find out about some amazing organizations that are literally changing the world.
And along the way, meet some true surprising heroes making a difference in the lives of others as we feature another Project Volunteer.
Kevin, thank you so much for meeting me here today. My cousin, Kevin. Now, just so you all know, this is my little cousin, but just grew up to be a lot bigger than me. So, Kevin, thanks for meeting me here today.
No problem.
I have been waiting to film this show here at the Knoxville Volunteer Fire Department forever. Since I was a kid, man, I grew up, you know, my dad and your dad, my Uncle Warnie, always firemen and other members of our family as well. I can remember growing up and them serving right here in the Knoxville Volunteer Fire Department, and I always had a dream of becoming a fireman. Now, I never did that, but actually today, I get to be a fireman for the day. But anyway, thanks for your time. Let's just start by telling the folks out there just about a volunteer fire department. They may no telling where they're watching this show at, but you know, there's a volunteer fire department in their community, probably where they are living. Just tell us, give us an overall view of a volunteer fire department.
Well, the first thing that I'll add about volunteer fire departments, we're always looking for unique individuals that have different skill sets that can come in and help our organization go further. Volunteer fire departments basically coexist from people that live in the general community that want to put forth the effort and the time to help their neighbors. And what we're doing is an ultimate service to all that live in their geographical boundaries because we're trying to help insurance premiums stay low. And with that, we have people who come in from all over our areas. Whenever a call comes in, they come in, we unite together as a brotherhood and work to try to solve issues. Many issues in the volunteer fire service, and it's just kind of it's a unique and awesome feeling to just be able to take somebody's bad day and make it better.
No kidding.
And try to put a smile on people's faces.
You know, and that's something that I do remember when I was younger growing up. You know, from time to time, if I got to see Dad come home from a fire or working a wreck or something, the joy that he had on his face being able to help people in need was priceless.
Absolutely.
And then later on, I would hear stories about people that the volunteer fire department helped out. Maybe they helped them with a house fire, or maybe they had a brush fire, maybe they was in a wreck, and hearing those stories of how they got helped, man, it was so inspirational. And that's what made me want to be a fireman when I was younger.
Yeah, it's definitely a great job. It has a lot of perks, and it does help you grow up. And it's one of those things, I think in the volunteer fire service, you probably grow up a little quicker than what you should. But the good thing about it is we're out there trying to help people. And that's the greatest gift that anybody can give. There are bad runs that end up happening too, and that's kind of the sad part. But the good thing about volunteer fire departments, and any fire department that is, the good far outweighs the bad.
Absolutely. I tell you what, y'all do so much good work. How about telling us a little bit about what it takes to become a volunteer fireman?
Well, the main thing you got to do is show up.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Just come up and tell your local volunteer department that you're interested in becoming a volunteer, or that you even want to look at it. You know,
Right.
Just think about it. It's not for everybody, and we know and we get that. But one thing about it, we do have older guys that are constantly getting off. So we got to fill those voids, and we got to keep this family going. And that's the great thing about a volunteer department, or any fire department that is. It's family oriented, and we work together.
Yeah.
And even after these guys retire, they're still family. And they come up here from time to time and still share stories of back when the days of old were. And things get
Back
interesting.
in the day stories,
Things get interesting.
For sure.
Yeah.
So they walk up, they're interested, they got to fill out some paperwork, background checks, stuff
Absolutely.
like that.
Absolutely.
And then y'all there's quite a bit of training that goes into this, right?
Yeah, the State Fire Commission mandates 150 hours worth of training that's broke up in different categories. And once the firefighter gets those 150 hours, then they become a certified 150-hour level firefighter. Typically, that takes anywhere from, could be a year to 3 years. It depends on how active and how motivated the new volunteer firefighter wants to be.
Right.
But they can knock that out by not only going to their department, but they can go to other departments. And then the good thing about the state of Kentucky, they offer trainings all throughout the Commonwealth.
Right.
We got fall schools, we got spring schools, we got state schools, and just different organizations in the fire service. They want you to come. And that's part of a brotherhood that we get to talk about too, because that's taking somebody who lives in Hazard, Kentucky, and you're going to training with them while you're here in Knoxville. And then we got people from Paducah, all the way on the other end of the state that's coming in, and they're training together. And the good thing about that is the more people that you can get, the more diversity you get, the more you learn.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Man, I cannot wait. I've been looking forward to this so much. And I understand you got a few jobs for me lined out to do.
Absolutely.
A few trainings for me to do.
Absolutely.
Man, I've been waiting for this since I was a kid, man. I feel like a kid again. Thanks, Kevin.
Hey, no
I'm looking
problem.
forward to it, buddy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Glad you're here. Okay, so what we've got here, Randy, we made sure our officer, whenever he showed up, he did the 360 size up, making sure that everything was safe. Okay, once he made sure that everything was safe, that's whenever our guys started cribbing the truck, and then our EMT made access and got inside the vehicle with the patient. That's what you see going on right now. Our EMT's talking to the patient. Our patient's a dummy. He's going to explain to the dummy the whole entire process of what's going on whenever we're extricating. Okay, now he's in there right now. We would do this in real life, we would leave him in there. But since this is training and we don't want to get anybody hurt, we're going to have to pull him out.
Gotcha.
Okay, but if this was a real live incident, he's going to stay in there with that patient. He's going to tell us no or go.
Okay, gotcha.
All right, so what your job is to do is you're going to be operating the jaws.
Okay.
They're pretty heavy, okay? The gentlemen that come up here, the two folks that come up here a while ago with the Halligan and the flathead axe made an access point right inside that door. They made it wide enough for the tip of your jaws to be able to get in there.
Okay.
And then you'll start spreading.
Gotcha.
Now, one thing to keep in mind, this takes years and years of practice to get really good at.
Right.
Okay, so don't expect for everything to just go awesome your first time.
Right.
All right?
I'll give it a
extremely
shot.
heavy. As soon as you get wore down, you let us know.
Okay.
We got plenty of guys back here. And
Okay.
They all love doing this stuff.
All right.
One of the best things about being a firefighter is you get to tear up stuff.
Yeah.
All right?
Yes.
All right.
Put my helmet down.
Yep. Terry's going to be our safety, so he'll watch the whole entire vehicle and make sure nobody gets around us without having their shields down, okay?
Okay.
All right.
So
Shields
this is-
down.
I'm just testing this.
Go.
Okay.
Now, remember your jaws are extremely powerful.
Right, okay.
You want to come in here?
She's behind you over there too. Never let off.
Your jaws are extremely powerful, okay? So don't pin yourself. If it starts going that way, you need to step out and come over here on this side.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Fine starting there.
Okay.
But just know the feel. So go ahead and
Okay.
go.
Once they get the grab, kind of walk behind it and hold it in one hand.
Okay.
Don't fight them. Yeah, don't get behind it though. Wait, go with it. All right, hold. Go back together and pinch in that hole.
Okay.
Jam it in there like you jammed it in there.
Right in here?
Yep, right at the pinch point. Go with it. All right. Stop, go back. Get closer to the where it's connected at.
Okay, right here?
Right up, right above it. There you go. Jam
here?
Right in around it.
Okay.
There you go.
Ugh. Like that.
Yep.
It's getting close, ain't it?
Yep.
Right there.
Cut it. We got to set it cut.
Okay. More time.
All right, we need to cut it now.
Okay, so we'll set those down.
Okay.
Probably behind the vehicle so nobody trips over them.
Good. Hey, dog. We'll cut it.
Have at it. That was pretty cool though. Them suckers are heavy, dude.
But you see, once it started grabbing, I just let go with this hand because you never know which way it's going to go.
Oh yeah.
Don't get pinched.
All right, so coming up next, we're going to spotlight the Red Cross. I got the opportunity to go and sit and talk with a lot of these Red Cross volunteers, and it was amazing. You said that you've been, what did you say?
Yeah, I have to be CPR certified all the time, Randy, because I'm a fitness instructor.
Oh,
so
okay.
I've gone through the American Red Cross, gosh, since I was 19 years old.
Okay.
Great organization. They've got some great instructors. It's real important to know how to save someone's life if you can. You know, if you
Right.
come upon someone and you know what to do. So, and now they have online courses that you can do as well and get certified that way. So I
Man,
think that's pretty neat.
That's really cool. And they do so much. There's too many things to even mention. The Red Cross, I think you can go to redcross.org
Yes.
and learn all about them. But I hope this segment inspires some people to get out there and want to volunteer at the Red Cross, be a first responder there. They do everything. So enjoy. Lisa, thank you so much for meeting me here today.
Thank you. You're welcome.
I understand you have been volunteering at Red Cross for quite a while now, right?
I've been here quite a while. Yes.
How long?
My first volunteer job was with the tornado of 2000.
Wow, I
And
remember that.
Yes, I did some things then, and then I was out for a few years, and since 2014, I've really got heavily involved again.
Well, I would like to know, just before we start our project today, I would like to know what motivated you to become a Red Cross volunteer?
Gosh, I don't know, just helping people and getting out into the community and doing what I can when I have spare time.
Yeah, I love volunteering personally
I love it.
myself. And ain't it so fulfilling?
It is.
You know, we're called to serve
yes.
one another and love one another, and I know it's a great feeling when we're able to do that.
Yes,
So,
I enjoy
Lisa, you are going to train me today about the Pillowcase
Pillowcase
Project?
Project,
Is
yes.
that right? Tell me
Yes.
about the Pillowcase Project.
Okay, the Pillowcase Project is a program where we go into schools and talk to students grades 2nd through 6th grade. We go into after-school programs, Boys and Girls Club, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, summer school programs, and we teach kids about preparedness, disaster preparedness. Okay. And in Western Kentucky, that usually involves home fires and tornadoes. Different parts of the country do different disaster training, but we do usually tornadoes and home fires.
Okay.
And the Pillowcase Project got its name because the university students, after the Hurricane Katrina came through, they didn't have time to pack up their belongings when they needed to get out quickly, so they just grabbed up their pillowcases and shoved in what was important.
Yeah.
And they left with that. So the Disney Corporation has partnered with American Red Cross to give us these pre-printed pillowcases. And they have items written on the pillowcase of what things that you could put in your pillowcase and keep in your pillowcase on hand in case there's an emergency.
So you teach kids how to do this?
Yes,
Right.
and we let kids color on them and decorate them. They have
Sure.
markers on them.
Well, that's neat. So we can just put all of
So
this
we'll
in
pack
no
ours and we'll be
certain
ready.
order, but yeah, okay.
We give the students also a workbook. It has a plan in here for evacuation for your home fires. It has lists of things that you might need in disasters. It has lists of emergency phone numbers, people that you want to contact, all kinds of things. So the kids each
man,
get their
that's
own
just-
workbook.
That's a lot of value in that. Can I put this
Volunteers
in
get
there
their own curriculum, so
Yeah.
you can learn how to do this and how to train the kids. Yes, you can
Okay,
put
now,
that in.
so do you train the kids to do this? Do you all ever assemble any of these to give to kids or give
No,
to folks?
no, we do not assemble them.
So you just
No.
train them to do it?
Yes.
Okay, I see.
Yes,
Okay.
and we take ours, like this one, just as an example to show
Right.
the kids.
Right. So pack it up. Very easy job. I guess the kids, all they have to do, with hopefully help from their parents, is find these different items.
Exactly.
And pack it up
Right.
and have it ready to go. And looky
And
there.
with the items already printed, that'll give you a start. You may think of other things that you want. Some kids want a photo of their family.
Yeah.
It takes with them. That's another thing we do is during the disaster, we teach calmness, how the kids can stay calm during the disaster to help them get through
Right.
that. So
Well, that was an easy project. What a
very easy.
great thing you all are doing for the community to teach the kids that. I mean, really, if you think about it, if a disaster happens, and if you leave without anything at all, having one of these, I can see such a huge benefit teaching these kids how to get prepared and how to be able to bring those essential things with them, or like you said, a photograph or something like that with them.
gives them a little comfort knowing that they are prepared.
Yes,
You know.
absolutely. I know I'm a Mr. Prepared. I'm always on my kids about being prepared for different things. So you have taught me something very valuable. So I will be trying to find me some of these pillowcases to take with me.
I know where you can get some.
Oh, you got a connection,
Yes,
huh?
I do.
All right. I might take a few with me when
Okay,
I go.
okay.
Lisa, thank you so
Thanks
much
for
for
having
your
me.
time. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you so much.
So Flowers, thank you so much for meeting me here today. So what is it that you're going to be teaching me?
Well, Mr. Lanham, today I'm going to be teaching you some home fire safety tips to keep your home safe.
Okay, great. Okay, how do we do that?
Well, we're going to get you some smoke alarms installed that are up
Okay.
to date.
Okay.
Now, the smoke alarms that we're installing today are 10-year smoke alarms, so you won't have to change the battery in them. We still recommend that you test them at least once a month. But as far as changing the battery, you won't even be able to get the battery out of these smoke alarms. And if it starts chirping for any reason before that, just give the American Red Cross a call. We'll come and change it out for you.
Wow, that's simple. That's simple. Well, you have volunteers that do these type of things too, right?
Oh,
You're going to
yes.
come in and put in the smoke alarms for us?
Yes, I love our volunteers. They come in, they help us out when we need, because our chapter alone covers 17 counties.
Wow.
So I can't do that by myself.
Yeah, no
So we
kidding.
definitely need our volunteers to come in and help.
So we have a volunteer here today that's going to actually install one of the smoke alarms. So y'all are in my home right now. You're fixing to do me a training. He's fixing to install the smoke alarm. So we want to bring him in.
This is my volunteer, Stan. I just love him. He's so useful.
Stan, thank you.
All right, so while he is installing the smoke alarm here, I'm just gonna go over some safety tips for you.
Okay.
So in terms of cooking, of course, when you're cooking, you wanna always make sure you're supervising your food. A lot of people, they take an oven mitt with them if they have to leave the kitchen, just so, to remind them, why do I have this in my hand? Oh yes, the bacon's cooking.
Yes.
So run back in there. With fireplaces, space heaters, things like that, you wanna make sure they're at least 3 feet away from furniture, clothing, curtains, things like that.
Okay.
You have any smokers in your home?
No.
Okay. In case someone does come over, you want to make sure they're not falling asleep in the bed.
Right.
We get a lot of fires started with people smoking in the bed.
Oh, wow.
For your electrical appliances, especially your larger ones like the refrigerator and stove, just make sure they're plugged in directly to the wall and not any extension cords that could overheat and spark.
Okay.
For matches,
know that.
lighters, maybe you have candles, things like that. Even if you don't
Yes, we
smoke,
do.
just make sure they're out of the reach of children.
Right.
And then for the smoke alarms again, make sure you're testing it at least once a month. Now these smoke alarms, they have a test button. They also have a hush button. So if you happen to burn the toast one day, you know why it's going off, you push that hush button, it'll be quiet for about 7 minutes.
Oh, okay.
And then if it's still smoky, it'll go off again.
Okay, got you.
Alrighty? All right, and then here at the bottom, it says that you should practice your home fire escape plan,
Okay.
which is, hopefully you have one. Do you have a?
Not exactly.
Okay, we can go over that with you. We can help
Good.
you get one started. So we want you to be testing that. You need to be out of your home in 2 minutes or less.
Wow, that's
So,
not much time.
Not a lot of time at all.
So that's so good that you all can train us to do that.
Oh yeah, so this is something you need to sit down with the kids and, smoke alarm goes off, instead of panicking, they've been practicing this so they know that they need to get out of the home in 2 minutes or less.
Okay.
So that's something that we need to go over with you.
Okay, absolutely. So Flowers, thank you so much for coming into my home and installing the smoke alarm
No
and teaching
problem,
me
Mr.
all
Lennon.
these. Can I keep this piece of paper?
Oh yes, I have some information that I can give you.
Absolutely, that's great. So all the things that you covered today, I just want to make sure that I go home with my family,
Oh, yes.
talk about them, and make sure we have a safe home and are definitely ready to get out of the house in a safe place in case there's a fire. Thank you so much for your time today. I appreciate you very much.
Not a problem, Mr. Lane.
Michelle, thank you so much for meeting me here. So tell me about your work at the Red Cross. What do you do?
I have various jobs, which when you volunteer, that's kind of what happens. Recently, I went on a deployment, and I went as a caseworker, but I ended up doing some disaster assessment and some feeding, watching and helping with the shelter. It's a very rewarding situation to be a volunteer at the Red Cross.
I can only imagine. So what is part of your training? If someone out there wants to be in disaster relief, what is part of the training that you have to go through?
Most of our trainings can be done online through EDGE, which is a part of the Volunteer Connection. In your own time, you can get on them. The classes range anywhere from 45 minutes to a couple of hours.
Right.
And you can start in one area, but then it progresses into others.
You talked about it being rewarding. I can only imagine. I feel like anytime that I get to volunteer, anytime that I get to serve others that are in need, it is such a blessing to me. So tell me about some of the folks that you've seen. You see their faces as you get to help them going through this terrible time of a disaster. Can you explain some of that?
Well, in doing the casework, in Iowa, what they had was a big situation where they brought in 20 vendors along with us. And so people would come in seeking relief. There was about 500 homes destroyed.
Wow.
And, they were in a lot of different needs. So what the Red Cross's role there was to bring everyone together that had an organization that would be of some help. And because, when you're in the middle of a disaster, your mind isn't on what you need to do to recover. And that's the role of the Red Cross, is to primarily give them a temporary solution and to lead them on their way to recovery. So having these 22 other organizations there were really important to help lead these people through their recovery.
Yeah, that's so sad, and what a blessing again to have organizations like yourself that are able to come in and bless these people and take care of them. If there's someone out there watching this show right now, they're thinking, you know what, I'm kind of hesitant about being a volunteer at Red Cross. What would you tell them to encourage them to become a volunteer?
Well, I would tell them the same thing that I just told my 89-year-old dad. He said, Michelle, I'm very proud of what you're doing. I wish that I had thought to do it when I was younger. And I told him that it takes every talent to make things work. They will find a place for him. He does well physically, as long as you have, even with physical limitations. We had one of the girls that did casework that was in a wheelchair. I found that to be extremely humbling to see someone that has a disability making the effort to be there to help other people. So it takes the whole thing where it takes a village. Yeah. It really does. And there are various different things that people could do to make it all come together as a group. There's always something to be done, and we encourage everyone to volunteer. We'll find a place.
All right. Michelle, thank you so much for your time today and your service to Red Cross.
We'll get you to volunteer.
You do. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So Flowers, I understand you have a really cool experience from Puerto Rico. Can you share that experience with us?
Yes, actually going to Puerto Rico was my first deployment. So the first time I actually got to go out and do disaster relief. And it was just amazing to see the people down there that they had been through so much, but they were the foundation of the volunteers down there that came in to help. Everyone had a smile on their face. Everyone was welcoming. And it really makes you feel pride. I mean, for our fellow Americans down there, but it makes you feel pride, like no matter what I'm going through right now, they're going through so much more.
Yeah.
Contact your local Red Cross. Educate yourself on what you can do, because there's all kinds of opportunities.
redcross.org, or reach out to one of your local organizations to get you connected.
Yes.
Thank you for your story and for your time, Flowers.
No
I
problem.
appreciate you very much. We want to thank you so much for watching Project Volunteer in this episode featuring some volunteer first responders. And again, the Red Cross, you said that you wanted to use me as a dummy. What's that all about?
Well, you fit the role perfectly. Dun, dun,
Well,
dun.
yeah, it's easy for me. It comes natural. But we hope you get out and volunteer in your community as maybe a first responder.
Not a dummy.
Not a dummy. Maybe that's in the volunteer firemen, or maybe that's for the Red Cross. But anyway, get out. Find your niche. Find your talent, the way that you're going to serve in your community today.
That's
Thanks
right.
for watching.
This show is brought to you by United Healthcare because we believe in the power of volunteering.